She broke up with you. And right now, you're probably replaying every conversation in your head. What did I say wrong? Was it that argument? Was it that guy? Did she ever really love me? But here's the question nobody asks you. What if this breakup is the wake-up call you needed? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're not going to feel rejected. You're going to feel dangerous. And trust me, lesson number 5 is the one most men learn too late. Let's begin. When a woman breaks up with you, it rarely feels sudden to her. It feels sudden to you. That's the first uncomfortable truth. Women emotionally detach in stages. Men usually react in shock. You think everything was fine because she was still there, still texting, still sleeping next to you, still saying I love you. But emotionally, she may have started drifting weeks, even months ago. And that leads us to lesson number 1. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. Lesson 1. Breakups are emotional decisions, not logical ones. You're trying to logic your way through this. You're listing all the good things you did. You were loyal, you were available, you tried, you invested. But attraction doesn't operate on fairness. It operates on emotion. And once her emotional state shifted, the relationship was already in danger. Here's what most men miss. When a woman says, I just need space, I'm not happy, it's not you, it's me. She's not giving you data. She's expressing a feeling. And feelings don't negotiate. You can't debate them away. You can't convince her out of them. And the more you try, the more you lower your value. Pause for a second. If she left because of how she feels, why are you trying to argue with feelings using logic? That's why chasing her almost always backfires. It signals emotional instability. And attraction dies when she feels she has more control than you. But wait, this doesn't mean you were weak. It means you didn't understand the game being played. And that brings us to lesson number 2. Lesson 2. You lost mystery, and she felt it. Let me say something controversial. Comfort kills attraction. Safety is good for stability, but mystery fuels desire. When you became fully predictable, when she knew exactly how you'd respond, when she knew you weren't going anywhere, part of the excitement faded. And I know, you were just being secure, reliable, consistent. But consistency without edge becomes monotony. Attraction needs polarity. It needs tension. It needs emotional uncertainty, just enough to keep things alive. When she stopped wondering about you, she stopped feeling that spark. And here's the part that stings. Sometimes women don't leave because another man is better. They leave because he feels new. New energy, new mystery, new emotional stimulation. That doesn't mean he's superior. It means he hasn't become predictable yet. If she left you for someone else, don't panic. Rebounds are often dopamine-based decisions, and dopamine fades, but only if you handle this next part correctly. Which leads to lesson number 3. Lesson 3. Your reaction after the breakup defines everything. This is where most men destroy any future leverage. The breakup happens, and immediately, you text paragraphs. You call repeatedly. You explain yourself. You promise to change. You try to prove your worth. But what you're actually communicating is, I need you more than you need me. And the power dynamic shifts permanently. Here's something most women won't say out loud. When you react with emotional desperation, it confirms her decision. When you react with calm detachment, it creates doubt. Let that sink in. Silence is powerful. Emotional control is rare, and rare is attractive. If after the breakup you said, I understand, I respect your decision, and you disappeared, no drama, no begging, no emotional meltdown, do you know what happens? She starts wondering, is he okay? Why isn't he chasing me? Did he move on? Did I misjudge him? Curiosity is the seed of reattraction. Desperation is the fertilizer of rejection. Which one did you water? Be honest. But don't worry, if you handled it poorly, there's still a way to reset. And that brings us to lesson number 4. Lesson 4. The breakup revealed your emotional weak spots. This one is uncomfortable, but necessary. Every breakup exposes the insecurities you thought you hid well. Maybe you overtexted because you feared abandonment. Maybe you became jealous because you feared replacement. Maybe you overgave because you feared not being enough. Here's the harsh truth. Women don't leave strong men because of small mistakes. They leave when emotional stability erodes. If she sensed you needed constant reassurance, you relied on her for happiness, you lost ambition, you centered your world around her. The polarity flipped. She became the emotional anchor. And once she feels like the stronger one, desire declines. Attraction requires respect. Respect requires emotional steadiness. Now here's the twist most men miss. This breakup isn't punishment. It's exposure. It exposed where you need to grow. Confidence that isn't dependent on validation. Purpose that exists beyond the relationship. Self-control that doesn't collapse under pressure. If you build those now, whether she comes back or not, your next relationship will feel completely different. And this brings me to the most important lesson, the one that determines whether she ever reconsiders you. Lesson 5. You must become someone who wouldn't chase her. Read that again. Not pretend, not act distant to manipulate. Actually become that man. Because here's what's psychologically fascinating. When a woman leaves, she expects emotional pursuit. She expects sadness. She expects attempts. If instead, you upgrade, you focus, you improve physically, financially, mentally, socially, without broadcasting it to her, without trying to prove it, something shifts. Absence plus growth equals intrigue, and intrigue reactivates attraction. But listen carefully. This cannot be a strategy to win her back. It has to be genuine transformation. Because women sense intention. If your glow-up is fueled by revenge or validation, it shows. If it's fueled by self-respect, it radiates. And here's the deeper psychology most men ignore. When she sees you thriving without her, it challenges her narrative. She told herself, he wasn't enough. He wasn't strong. He needed me. If you become stable, composed, successful, socially magnetic, that narrative collapses. And when narratives collapse, reconsideration begins. But here's the twist you might not expect. By the time she reconsiders, you may not even want her back. Because growth changes standards. And that is power. Lesson 6. Grief is real, but it has a deadline. Now I want to say something most of these videos skip. You're allowed to hurt. You're allowed to feel it. The heaviness in your chest, the empty side of the bed, the muscle memory of reaching for your phone to text her. That's real. And pretending it isn't doesn't make you strong. It makes you numb. But here's the difference between men who recover and men who don't. Recovered men feel the pain. Then they give it a deadline. Not because pain is weakness, but because extended suffering without action becomes identity. And once pain becomes identity, you start wearing it. You bring it to the next woman. You bring it to your friendships. You bring it to your work. And suddenly, you're not the man who got his heart broken. You're the man who never moved on. Don't be that man. Feel it fully for a defined window. Journal it. Talk to someone you trust. Sit with the silence. Then draw a line. Not a fake line, a real one. The line where processing ends and building begins. Because the men who do that, they emerge with something that cannot be manufactured. Depth. Emotional depth that makes them more compelling, more grounded, more magnetic than they were before. Breakups can make you bitter, or they can make you better. The deciding factor is what you do with the grief. Lesson 7. Your social world is either saving you or killing you right now. Let's talk about your environment. Because most men going through a breakup make one catastrophic mistake. They disappear. They isolate. They pull away from friends. They stop showing up. They sit in their apartment, alone, scrolling her Instagram at 1 a.m., listening to music that makes it worse. And they call that healing. It's not healing. It's marinating in pain. Here's what the research actually shows. Social connection is one of the most powerful predictors of emotional recovery. Not romantic connection, platonic, brotherhood, community. The men in your life who make you laugh, who challenge you, who call you out when you're spiraling. Those men are your medicine right now. Call them. Show up. Go to the gym together. Eat together. Talk about things that have nothing to do with her. Because here's what isolation does. It turns her into something she never was. It inflates the memory. It edits out her flaws. It turns a real woman with real problems into a fantasy. And you can't compete with a fantasy. But when you're surrounded by life, real conversations, real experiences, real momentum, the fantasy dissolves, and you start to see the relationship for what it actually was. Not a perfect thing that was destroyed, but a chapter that served its purpose. And chapters end so the story can continue. Lesson 8. The 30-day rule that changes everything. I want to give you something practical, something you can start today. The next 30 days are the most important 30 days of your recovery. Not because she's watching, because you are. Here's the framework. Week 1. No contact. Complete silence. Not as a tactic, as a boundary. You are not available for confusion, mixed signals, or emotional breadcrumbs. You are unavailable, and that is your right. Week 2. Physical reset. Get back in the gym if you left it. Fix your sleep. Eat like someone who respects himself. Your body holds grief. Movement releases it. This isn't about getting a better physique to impress her. It's about reclaiming ownership of your physical state. Week 3. Rebuild your purpose. What were you working toward before she became your world? A business idea, a career goal, a creative project, a skill you abandoned. Go back to it. Because the man without a mission is the man who orbits a woman, and orbiting is not attractive. Direction is. Week 4. Social expansion. Go somewhere new. Meet people who don't know your story. Introduce yourself without the weight of what just happened. You'll feel something shift. You'll realize that your identity isn't tied to what she thought of you. You exist fully outside of her perception. By the end of those 30 days, you won't be the same man who sat in the parking lot after she said goodbye. You'll be someone he would have respected. Will she come back? Sometimes. Yes. Especially if you don't chase, you don't beg, you don't stalk her social media, you don't try to make her jealous, you don't send emotional essays at 2 a.m. Instead, you disappear with dignity. But here's the truth nobody tells you. The goal isn't getting her back. The goal is becoming the man who doesn't collapse when she leaves. Because women are attracted to emotional strength, not emotional dependence. And if she does come back, you'll be in a position to evaluate whether she deserves to re-enter your life. Not with bitterness, not with revenge, with clarity. Because the man you're becoming doesn't accept confusion. He doesn't accept half-effort. He doesn't accept being someone's backup plan. He sets the standard, and people either rise to meet it or they don't make the cut. Let me give you one final thought before we close. Most men spend their 20s and 30s chasing women who aren't sure about them, trying to convince, trying to prove, trying to earn love from people who haven't decided they want to give it. That is an exhausting way to live, and it produces relationships built on sand. The man you want to become doesn't chase certainty from other people. He builds certainty within himself. He knows his value, not because someone confirmed it, but because he earned it through discipline, honesty, and daily choices that reflect self-respect. And when that man walks into a room, people feel it. When that man pursues someone, it means something, because his attention is not handed out freely. It is earned. So if she left because she thought you were replaceable, the only answer is becoming irreplaceable. Not to her, to the world. And when you do that, your dating life changes. Your standards rise. Your energy shifts. Your presence commands respect. And whether it's her or someone better, you won't be chosen out of pity. You'll be chosen out of desire. So if you're watching this right now with that heavy feeling in your chest, understand this. Breakups are not endings. They're audits. They audit your confidence, your emotional control, your purpose, your identity. And if you pass this audit, you level up. If you fail it, you repeat the lesson with someone else. The choice is yours. So ask yourself, are you going to be the man who chases what walked away, or the man who becomes so strong that walking away becomes her loss? Take your time with that, because your response in the next 30 days determines the next 5 years of your romantic life. Now, before you go, if this video gave you clarity, hit like, subscribe to this channel, and check out the other videos here, because we don't sugarcoat the truth. We break down psychology, we expose dynamics, and we help you build real leverage. Your transformation doesn't start when she comes back. It starts the moment you stop chasing. I'll see you in the next video.